In this video, we'll provide an overview of the automated email system. Log into your account and navigate to the Automated Emails page. On this page, you'll notice icons at the top for viewing sent emails, as well as creating new email templates. Underneath that is a bar that indicates how many email credits you have remaining for the current month. And underneath that is a listing of any existing email templates that you've already created, with links to edit them, copy them, set up automated scheduling, delete them, and to send them manually to a specific client. So let's take a look and let's create a new automated email template. The first thing we'll need to do is specify a name for the template. This is nothing that your client will see. It's just for you to be able to identify the template within your account. So let's create one for our example called 14-Day Outstanding Planning Data. We can specify anything we want for a subject line. We can even include tokens. So let's talk briefly about what tokens are. Tokens are merge fields that you can include in the subject or the body of your email that will automatically merge in the applicable client and event data for the event that it's sending the email. So you'll see here in the list we have over 36 different tokens that you can include, ranging from client information to event information to location and venue information, financial information, event planning information, your company information, and information about the assigned staff member for that particular event. So let's just go ahead and type in a subject line that says your upcoming, and then let's insert the token for event type is just 2 weeks away. So now let's move down to the body of the email. And you'll see we have a WYSIWYG editor here that allows you to format this in any way that you want using HTML. Again, you can have your merge tokens for various data points. You can choose font type, bolding, italics. You can justify text to the right or left. You can choose a font size. You can choose your font color. You can create bulleted lists, tables, insert links, insert photos, and more. So let's kind of run through that and take a look at that. So for our example here, let's say dear, and we'll say client first name. It's hard to believe your event type is coming up on, and let's choose event date fall. That'll put Saturday, June 5th as the format for the event date. And let's say now we're going to send this to our clients that have outstanding event planning information that they have not yet submitted. It appears as though we are still awaiting the following items to be completed. And let's insert the token now for the list of incomplete forms. And let's also up here put an account. We're waiting for the following 2 or 3 items. It's a number of incomplete forms to be completed. And just to make sure this stands out, let's go ahead and put this in bold and let's make it red. It appears as though we're still waiting for the following blank items to be completed, and then the system will put a list of the incomplete. Please log into your, and now we want to insert a link to the event portal, so go ahead and click on link. You can type in any URL that you want if you want to link to a third-party site or your own website, but we also have a list here to various links of your website tools that your clients might want to access. So let's choose event portal and click save. Please log into your event portal at your earliest convenience to complete these items. So now, let's put a signature block at the bottom of this. So let's say we want this to appear like a personal email from the assigned staff member. So let's go ahead and put the assigned staff first name, put a space, assigned staff last name. Underneath that, we will put the assigned staff direct email address as well as their phone number. We'll put their cell phone. And let's say below this we want to have a signature block for the company, so we want to put our logo in. Let's go ahead and click on Insert Image. Again, if you have an image or a photo or a graphic on your website and you want to link to that through the URL, you can do that. But we've given you here in the image list your primary logo, icon, and print logo as taken from your master design page. So if you have your logos uploaded into our system, they will appear here as options. So let's go ahead and choose primary logo. If needed, we could drag on that to resize it. And underneath that, let's go ahead and put our company information. So let's do the company name and company website, and we'll do the company's primary phone. And let's put the company name in bold. So we've got this email now set up. There is a preview here. You can pop it up just to see what it'll look like without all the WYSIWYG editor around it. And if you need to, let's say you don't want this to be in red or bold, you can click on this clear formatting. It'll put it back to the default. I like it in bold and red, so let's keep that. And then finally, if you really advance and you want to be able to edit the HTML directly, you can click on that to be able to do that. So we've developed a very simple email. Let's go ahead and save it. And when we come back here, you'll see it now at the top of the list, 14-day outstanding planning data. So just to run through these, first, again, we can go back in at any time and edit this and make changes to it. So we can keep tweaking it until we get it exactly how we like it. The next option is to copy it. And there's a reason you might want to do that. I'll go ahead and show you that in a moment. Finally, the third option here is the meat and potatoes. That's the automated scheduling of this. So let's go ahead and click on this. But before I click on it, I just want to point out one thing. You'll notice the three different colors here. The blue means that you do not have a schedule set up currently for this email. And you may want to have email templates in here that have no schedule, that are just things that you fire off manually as needed, but they don't need to be tied to any automation. So setting up that automation is optional. You can have as many templates in here as you need to offer different things for your clients that you might want to send them manually at any point. But the automated scheduling, once it's set up, will light up in green if it's active, and it will light up in red if it's paused. So let's go ahead and click on this and it'll make a little more sense. You'll see here when we set up the schedule, right up at the top, we can choose whether this schedule is active or paused. So again, active will light up in green. If it's paused, it's red, but that means it's not running. There are no automated emails going out. Next down, we can schedule our automated email based on the event date or the created date in the system. And there's a very big distinction between these, right? The event date is going to be based on a certain number of days before or after the actual event date. So in our case here, we want to do it 14 days before the event, but we might want to send out an email 7 days after the event with a link to the event survey. So those types of emails would be based on the event date. The created date is based on a number of days after the event is created in the system. So this could be a sequence of sales emails that you want to send after you put a pending event into your system, or it could be a series of welcome emails that you want to send to a booked event after you've created it in the system. Maybe a hello email from their assigned staff member, or an email with details on how to log in and plan the details of their event. Those you would want to do based on created date. So for our example, we're going to leave this set to event date. And then moving down, we're going to enter 14, and we're going to make sure we choose before. So 14 days before the event date. Event status. Well, again, this is the status of the event. So for our example, we're going to choose booked because we only want this to go to booked clients or booked events. But if you were basing a sales email based on a number of days after an event was created in the system, you might choose a pending or a prospect as the event status. Or if you wanted a series of welcome emails to go out after you created an event based on the event actually being confirmed and booked, you have a contract and deposit in hand, then you could do that based on a status of booked. So we give you that flexibility. So again, for our example here, it's going to be based on booked events. Next down, we can choose that whether we want this email to only be sent to a certain type of event. So if we had messaging in here that was specific to their wedding or specific to a mitzvah, we could choose that here, and it would only send it if it was that type of an event. Now, in our case, for our example, it's very simple, and we used event type as a token, so there's really no reason for us to choose an event type. but we have that option in here if we need to. And by the way, you'll notice these little help bubbles throughout. They're going to give you more information on what this would be used for, and we try to include an example of how you might want to use it, so you always have that available to you. So next, only send if the remaining balance is greater than a certain number. That we won't need for this email, but we'll make another email right after this, and I'll show you where that would come in to be beneficial. But this next one is something we are going to want to set. Only send if there are incomplete planning forms, timelines, or request lists. So we're going to go ahead and select yes, because if you remember in the body of the email, we said that there are incomplete items that are needing their attention. So we only want to send that to people that have incomplete forms. If they've completed everything and they're ready to go, there's no need for them to get this email. And then finally, we're going to choose the approximate time of day to send it. And we recommend mixing this up a little bit. If you have multiple emails in your system, have them go out at different times of the day. That way your client, it looks a little more realistic to them, that they're not always getting emails from you at 6:15 every morning. So, mix up the times a little bit, have it go out in different times of the day. There's various strategies in terms of when the best time of the day is to send emails. So it's good to kind of mix that up a little bit, get them going out at different times of the day, get a better chance of it actually being opened and read. So for our example here, we'll go ahead and choose 10:15 a.m. And then finally, in terms of scheduling, at the bottom here, we get to choose who should this email come from when it's sent. And we have a few different options. We have the company itself. We have the assigned staff member of this event, or you can choose a specific staff member from your staff list. So that might be beneficial if you want the email to always come from your office manager or to always come from the owner of the company, regardless of who the event is assigned to. For our example here, because we want this to look like a personal email letting them know that they have some outstanding items, we'll go ahead and choose the assigned staff member. The only thing to keep in mind with this is if you have multiple staff assigned to an event, the system will automatically choose the first assigned staff member. So keep that in mind if you have events that have multiple staff assigned, that these emails will come from the first staff member that's assigned to that event. And last, we can choose whether we want anyone to receive a blind carbon copy or BCC of this email. And again, you have the same options. It can go to the main company email, it can go to the assigned staff member, or it can go to any specific staff member on your staff. And this is just if you think there's some benefit to somebody receiving a copy of it when this goes out, you can elect to use that. The thing to keep in mind is that behind the scenes, the system is actually sending two separate emails, one to the client and one to your staff member. So it does use up 2 email credits if you use the BCC option. So, our advice is you can always come in and see your sent emails through the system, and staff members can come in and see any emails that were sent on their behalf to events that they're assigned to. So, unless you absolutely need this, you're best to just save your credits and go ahead and come in here to the system to see anything that's been sent. So let's go ahead and click Save Schedule. And now you'll notice that this is green because we have an active schedule. So let's take a look at now, we talked about using that remaining balance option, only send if the balance is greater than a certain amount. So let's go ahead, because we've already done a little bit of work on this. We've got our signature block the way we like it. We've got some variables in there, some tokens. Let's go ahead and just make a copy of this. So that's what this icon is for, duplicate email. So let's go ahead and click on that. And now we have to give this, because we're creating a new template, we have to give this a name. So let's call this the 10-day outstanding balance email. And let's make this one a little more generic in the subject line. You have an outstanding balance. And down here, we've already got some information merged in. We can leave a lot of this. We can say, we can make it a little more formal. Your outstanding balance for your event is, and let's put in the remaining balance. And this will automatically include the currency symbol, so you don't have to do that. So go ahead and I'm going to put this in bold just so they can see it. And let's go ahead and wipe this out and say, please, let's clear the formatting on this. Please click here to pay your final balance. And let's go over to our links. And let's choose Payment Gateway. Hit save. And again, because this one we want it to make a little more formal, let's take off the staff information, and we'll just have the company information down at the bottom. And let's leave it like this. This is good. So let's go ahead and hit save. So now you'll see, again, we have our new email up here. And let's go ahead and set up the automated scheduling for this. So again, this is going to be an active schedule. It's based on the event date. We're going to have it go out 10 days before the event and only to our booked events. It can go to all types of events because we're just collecting money. And here's where we're going to specify this option. Only send if the remaining balance is greater than, and you can put in anything you want here. Maybe you only want the email to go out if they owe you more than 100. Or, maybe you have a policy that they pay the final 500 at the event. So you only want this to go out if they owe something greater than 500. Whatever your specific criteria is, you can go ahead and enter that in. For our example here, we'll enter $25. So we're only going to send the email if they have an outstanding balance of $25 or greater. Only send if they're incomplete planning forms, time limit request list. No, we want to send this regardless because this has nothing to do with planning information. This has to do specifically with remaining balance. Time to send. Again, last one I think we were up here in the morning. Let's go ahead and send this one mid-afternoon. Maybe we'll have some better success with that in terms of people having time to open it and take action. Who should the email come from? For this one, we're going to have it come from the company because it's a more formal billing notice as opposed to an email from their assigned staff asking for planning information. BCC copy, again, we'll leave that blank, so let's go ahead and save that. So now, here we are. We have 2 new email templates in the system. And again, we can edit those. We can copy them. We can set up or edit our schedule. If I need to pause this schedule for any reason, I'll come in here and click pause and save it. And pausing it will just stop any further automated emails from going out. But let's say I need to send this to somebody right away. I need to send it to them manually. Or let's just say I want to test it and see how it works. That's where this final icon comes into play here, send manually. So let's go ahead, let's first do our 14-day outstanding planning data. Let's click on that. First thing we need to do is find the event that we want to send this for. So this is an autocomplete. We're just going to type, any word from the event title or the client's name to be able to locate that. And we'll go ahead and click on it. When we do that, you'll see that it has now brought up the email template that we've developed, but it's merged in the information based on the tokens that we set up. So if everything looks good, and it's pre-populated the client's primary email address here, it's coming from the company. If everything looks good, we could just go ahead and hit send. But let's say there's something specific we want to change just on this one email. Maybe I talk to them on the phone. So I don't want this to seem like it's out of the blue. So I'll say, as we discussed by phone, we are still waiting for the following 2 items. And when I send this, it'll send it based on what I've just corrected in here, but it's not going to modify the overall template. This is just for this one individual email that we're sending. So if we click send, it's going to confirm because once it goes, it goes. There's no getting it back, so go ahead and click OK. And it's going to fire off that email. You'll notice now our email credits dropped by 1 because we've now sent 1 email. And if we come over here and view sent emails, you'll see we can view the email that we just sent. And again, your assigned staff members can come in and click on that and see emails that were sent on behalf of them for their assigned events. And finally, as a final test, just to show you what would happen if we sent manually our 10-day outstanding balance. Go ahead and click on that. Again, we're going to locate the event that we want to send this for. And here we are. You have an outstanding balance. This has merged in real-time financial data indicating what their current balance is based on the total amount that you specified for that event minus any applied payments for that event and a link to the payment gateway. And again, this one's coming from the company. We can override this, or if there's an additional, let's say, they say, oh, send a copy of that to the bride's mom or the bride's dad. You can come in here and override this email, put something different in there if you need to. And when you're ready, send now, and it shoots that email out. Again, our credits have dropped, and again, if I go to my sent emails, I can see that email that's been sent.